Are live. We are live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the inaugural episode of the Year on Trial podcast, where we put a year on trial and decide what was good, what was bad, and overall just how the year went. I am your host, Adelaide. Got a lovely crew with me here today. Let's start with the person hosting this channel or the episode. I guess.
What's up, Doug? I'm here. I'm ready to go. Let's put 2019 on trial.
And I have my mortal enemy right about over there.
I'm a little mad because I was told we were putting actual people on trial, but years are okay too. This should be fun. It should be a good time.
We can put some weird. I'll put someone on trial later. Don't worry. But first, someone who's not going on trial, hopefully anytime soon. We have 1 minute in, and most of this is devoted to watching Jay eat.
It's a mukbang, guys. It's a mukbang. Enjoy.
Okay.
Are you talking about me getting arrested? Because that totally already happened today. I'm out on bail just so I can be here. You'll find me dead in 2 weeks in my prison cell. Don't worry about it.
That got dark.
In
Maybe like a
2017,
few
we're going to have some
movies.
serious issues with Jay. But first, we have our first segment of the show. It is titled
Big picture.
Big Picture. Yeah. Oh, that's why I can't even see. Okay. Big Picture.
Shout out to Paulo Yama and Michael Campbell.
Sure. We're talking about the big pictures of the year. We're talking about the Oscar nominees and what made a lot of fucking money. All right. So I'll just go through the list of the nominations, and we can talk about why. I think this is a great year for nominations, but I also really hate some of these movies. We have Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Ford vs. Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, and Parasite. Boom. I think the best movie of the year is in here, and one of the worst movies of the year is in here. So it's really interesting how we just sort of make this list of nominees.
I disagree. I think there's almost all good movies. Actually, 100% all good movies on this list. The lowest rated film I have on here is 4 out of 5 stars. So that is a very good list, especially compared to last year. Because last year, Bohemian Rhapsody got in. And what was everybody thinking?
That had amazing editing, somehow.
No, it didn't.
Well, guys, it's not 2018 on trial. It is 2019.
Oh no! Next week we're gonna get some fucking fire in here. Also, this is like sort of a prelude, but not really. I'm not gonna double step on it. I think Joker and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood are just bad movies. I think Hollywood has more flaws in it, whereas Joker I'm just not a fan of. But yeah, I hate these.
Woo!
And also, I haven't seen Ford v Ferrari yet, so I don't have an opinion, but it looks good.
Yeah, that's a hot take there.
Wow, I thought this was called You're on Trial, not Hot Takes Express.
Mm. Oh, have you met me? I have basically only bad opinions. I enjoy the period.
Spence is just Coho on Coke. Like just a bunch of opinions on recent movies.
I thought it was just Brian Michaels as a zoomer. Just every opinion's wrong.
No, because Brian Michaels is basically the opposite of you. Brian Michaels.
Good at movie trivia.
What? That's you're not wrong.
I could say something very unsavory right now.
Okay,
Good.
but like,
Right.
okay. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Let's just get this because I think that's probably the most divisive movie of the year. I think everybody, maybe not the most, but it's definitely one that people either love or hate. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I am on the camp of loving it. I think it's very much. I don't like. I get it if somebody doesn't like this movie because it is. It's made in a way where it very much is just meandering. It's just let's live in this world for a while, right? But I kind of love that. I just love this giant exploration of what 1969 was. I think that's just so amazing, and just the way that it shows that the costume design, the production design, it's all really beautiful, and I think it looks great. And I think DiCaprio is acting his heart out in this movie. The guy has to play like 3 different characters, and it's perfect. And I really like the dialogue. Some people say, "Oh, it's not Tarantino's best dialogue." I think it's really good. There are conversations. I love the conversation between Pacino and DiCaprio, where Pacino basically is like, he's going around and you're acting in all these different parts where you're the bad guy. People aren't seeing you; they're seeing your character, and by proxy, subliminally, they're thinking that your character is done, that you are done. And I think that's such a great scene. There are so many great dialogue scenes in the movie. I really enjoy it. I get why people don't like it, but personally, I love it.
And notice how you did not praise a single second of Sharon Tate or the Manson family storyline, almost like it's secondary to the actual storytelling and doesn't contribute to the film as a total.
So,
That's what it
so
doesn't.
to counter your little argument there, since we're a counter show, that's how I view us. I will defend the Manson stuff. I think the Manson stuff plays well. I think it plays well, and I don't disagree that the Sharon Tate stuff doesn't play as much. I enjoy a little bit of her in the role, but I don't think she was necessary for the role. I don't think her plot was necessary for the role, because they switch it around anyway, that they're basically there to kill him. Spoilers, sorry, but this is a show where we're talking about pictures.
This is a spoiler show, by the way.
So I don't think, like, I understand, like, towards the end, he meets Sharon Tate and they make a friendship at that point, and maybe it reinvigorates his career. But for me, I think the Manson storyline is important because it contributes to the end of the movie. And forgive me, but the blowtorching scene at the end is phenomenal. He just comes out and has the blowtorch. He's like, and I'm like, yes.
Yes, I love women getting murdered for no reason. Isn't that great?
She was
She was there to kill him.
Yeah, it's not no reason.
There's no good women in the movie. That's the issue. You can't validate.
She's a good woman.
That's
What are
not
you talking
really like a strong point of Tarantino, anyways, unless they're the main focus.
That's my thing. I feel like this
I
movie. Like,
never got that thing about Tarantino hates women or whatever. I think he has written some of the best female characters in cinema history. Jackie Brown,
when they're the leads.
Mia Wallace. What?
Oren Ishii was a badass.
Already
Like,
Go. I love. I think. Shoshana Dreyfus is fantastic. Diane Kruger. Like, sure, you can say, oh, well, a lot of those women die violent deaths or have violent things happen to them. Everybody in a Tarantino movie has violent things
I
happen
was
to them.
gonna say he's the George R. Martin of screenwriting.
Listen,
Yeah.
have you not seen Hateful Eight? Every character in that movie pretty
I
much.
haven't. You bitch.
I-
Like,
Listen,
That's
Jay,
a good
you're
thing
on
we'll
a
get to that.
you're on a
I'm
show.
kidding.
You're on a show.
I'm kidding.
that's the thing, though. It's like Tarantino. I think people are kind of shocked because most of the time women in films are very handled with kid gloves. Tarantino equals the playing field. He doesn't patronize.
What is
Right?
it? Bonnie, right? Bonnie in Pulp Fiction. She's the one that first stands up and is like, "Listen, motherfuckers."
I'm gonna fucking execute every last one of you motherfuckers.
It's a great scene. It's a really great scene. No, but I get your point, Spence. But at the same time, I actually really enjoyed this movie. Besides the Sharon Tate stuff, I understand both that you feel that it's necessary. For me, I didn't feel it was necessary. She actually did no payoff. Like her screen time paid nothing off for me. It was all about Leo. It was all about Brad Pitt in this movie. I really enjoyed them. And then adding some extra justice to the Manson family, I'm down for it. It's the same way I was down for it when he did it with Hitler and Inglourious Basterds. So,
All right, so here,
I mean,
I Okay, no, right, go ahead, Jay.
Well, no, I was just gonna say this is something that we know Tarantino to do though, is create this alternate history type shit. I like it to an extent. I don't think that Tarantino needed a 3-hour excuse to direct 5 TV shows, a 5-episode TV show.
Yeah.
That literally, I don't think this movie needed to be as long as it was. That's my only issue with it.
I think it did make one really smart decision. In I think it's the spoiler, I guess. We've already spoiled the ending for it, so I guess another one. The Great Escape scene. I think that sort of insertion is incredible, and I love the fact that he made the technology work in such a great way. But if the entire movie just serves as an experiment to try out different things, I don't think it's super successful as an overall story. Whereas I think again, because he started writing it with this like bounty law TV show in mind. Granted, we're getting that now. But overall, I think as a story, I don't think it works. I think we focused on this for a long time though, so I want to move on to a different nominee.
Okay.
And there's one here which I know someone here really loves. So I want to talk about that. Jay.
What?
Jojo Rabbit.
I love this movie, man. This is my number one movie of last year. Like I didn't see a whole bunch. I think I saw like 35, 40 movies last year. This beat out Endgame right there. I don't know, dude. There's just something about Taika Waititi, the way that he's able to meld misery and humor together as well as he did. I love that. I don't think it got enough love. Like it got a couple of nods, but like, you know, it got a couple of big ones. But like, I would like to see this win more than it was nominated for, but obviously it's not possible. I wish it was nominated for more, I should say.
It was nominated for 10, unless I'm mistaken.
Oh, I might not have looked at the full list then. I might just be like a Mo round.
It was Irishman. Oh no, never mind. I'm miscounting. Fuck yeah, I'm way off. I don't disagree. I think I know Doug has the same opinion. I don't want to steal his thunder too much. It should have gotten 2 supporting actress noms and also a lead actor nom, and also should probably win in adapted. No, not adapted screenplay, because something else should get that. I'll get to that.
So I'm coming in super unprepared, and I do apologize. I like to have an air of professionalism. Did Sam Rockwell get nominated for supporting actor for this?
No, he didn't.
Fucking robbery. I think the
only nominated
Rockwell
performance was Johansson.
Yes, ScarJo was the only nomination
Amazing.
What's her name? Thomasin McKenzie?
Yeah.
Didn't even come on.
So the only issue I see with that is technically she's a lead. She's a lead.
Okay.
I think she should have been nominated for lead. I will give you that, but and I think Rockwell. The only reason that I don't think they did it for Rockwell is because he was nominated last year, if I'm not mistaken. Again, right? Or did he win last year?
2 years ago.
For 3 Billboards, right?
He was nominated last year for Vice.
Vice.
So I don't know if that maybe hindered them voting for him again because he wasn't in it that much. But I mean, his performance alone was ridiculously good.
He was in that movie quite a bit.
Yeah.
He's in at least a third of the movie.
I think the studio for supporting actor was pushing Taika.
Yeah.
I think Taika was the one that people were pushing.
He was
I thought
fantastic. He was fantastic, but if I had to choose one, I wouldn't have chosen Taika over Rockwell. That's the thing. Like Rockwell has more of a hitting, you know, there's more emotion behind what Rockwell does in that movie, especially in the ending scene. And you know what? Fuck it, I'll spoil it. When he fucking, you know, since we're already talking about spoilers anyways, when he sits there and he's like, "Get away from me, you Jew," and like literally he has been a father figure to this individual all throughout it, and his last action that he knows is going to lead up to his inevitable death is to save this kid and tell him to get the hell out of here because you're just a 10-year-old kid. This is the entire story. But to have it be another father figure ultimately abandoning him but helping him at the same time, to me that emotion hits really well, and it just kind of irritates me.
See, I don't disagree. I think there's an argument to be made that it's the writing that carries the character, not the performance. Whereas I think Taika's performance is what elevates the writing. I don't think you could ask almost. I think you could almost ask any other actor to play Hitler the way Taika does.
I don't
Like,
think you
he's-
could really. I don't think you can really approach another actor on the face of the planet and be like, "Hey, play Hitler."
Yeah.
This might be why we got Taika Waititi
Well,
to
no,
play
no.
Hitler.
No, legitimately, that was the thing. Is when he pitched to the studio, they said we can do it.
But when this was first pitched to the audience, like anybody that paid attention to anything that was going on, they said it was a 10-year-old boy with a fondness for Nazis and had an imaginary friend known as Adolf Hitler. If anyone came up to you and told you that was the story, would that work?
If Jay goes to a bar and tells a girl it's my favorite movie of the year, he's getting the cops called on him in 2 seconds.
Well, no, because people know what it's about now.
I have too much hair. I have too much hair in my head for that to happen.
I mean, people know what the movie's about. For me, the ScarJo is this is the award that she should win for. I loved her in Marriage Story, but she did so much for this movie. She did so much for this movie with doing so little.
The scene where she plays both parents is a phenomenal
It's
scene.
phenomenal.
I'm not gonna lie. When she goes and
Heart-wrenching.
she spreads the ashes on her face to get herself the 5 o'clock shadow, and she literally is just like, I yelled at the kid again. I'm just like, I was literally enraptured. I was like, okay, cool. And then
okay, so question:
15 minutes later, you see shoes, and you're just like, fuck
Yeah.
you.
has Scarlett ever been better? Which I guess
Maybe
we could,
under her skin.
under the skin.
Marriage Story.
I was like in
Ooh.
transition
Listen.
into the
Transition
other
into
great
Marriage
performance she gave
Story. Still, I understand the argument. I think this is the one that she should win for, just because of what this does. What she does in Marriage Story, it's less about her performance and what she does to Adam Driver, and to pull out his performance.
Ooh, I don't know if I agree with that.
I think it is.
I think she might be the better performance in this movie, Loki.
Ooh,
No,
that is a hot.
No,
That is
no.
a super
might.
hot
I
take.
said he might be.
Super hot take.
I need to think about it. But
I need a hot take just button to slam and just say no, fuck you. Okay, so I think comparing two performances, you break it down by scene, honestly, because they're phenomenal across the board. I'm not sure how much more they do outside of the individual big scenes. And when you look at it like that, I think that her performance, again, with the two roles and the ashes, is a lot more impressive than her argument with Driver.
I don't know. That argument with Driver, it goes and escalates the whole situation. You feel what on that screen. This is the scene that kind of like gets you to that breaking point for both of them for me. And it's you don't know who's right in that situation. That's the worst part about it, because it's like you want to root for one person in this movie. You want to root for Scarlett Johansson for part of the movie, then you want to root for Adam Driver. But then it's like this argument. It's hand down probably as close to a real depiction of what a divorced couple argument looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think what makes that movie so special is what you were touching on, Doug. The fact that it points blame at both sides. It says, you're wrong, Scarlett, you're wrong, Driver. But it doesn't make you hate either character. You never hate either character. You hate the situation, but you never hate Driver. You never hate Johansson. And I think that's so brilliant. I think it's very much like the better version of Kramer versus Kramer, which Kramer versus Kramer is good. But if you look at that movie, you're on Dustin Hoffman's side the whole time.
The entire movie.
You hate Meryl Streep. Marriage Story gives sympathy for both sides, and that's what I love. It's Noah Baumbach's writing, who is just a genius.
I think with this movie, it solidifies him as being maybe one of my favorite screenwriters right now.
I agree completely. Squid and the Whale is still one of the best.
Amazing movie.
Well, for me, this is the only Baumbach movie I've liked so far.
Really?
Yeah,
Where's
like,
the
Okay,
where's
have you
that-
seen
where's
the
that
Squid and
hot
the Whale?
take back at?
Have you seen the
I
Squid
have
and the
not
Whale?
seen Squid and the Whale. I own it. And when we get to 2012, I'll rewatch Francis Ha. But of all the stuff of his I've seen, none of which have impressed me. And Marriage Story is exceedingly far the best he's ever done. Like,
The
it's
Squid and the Whale is
absolutely incredible.
Squid and the Whale is very much in the same kind of ilk as Marriage Story, so I think you'd enjoy it.
Fuck. Okay, great.
What?
All right,
Why?
so,
Why is that a bad?
oh no, no, that's a good fuck. Like a fuck.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like a fuck.
Fuck.
As
Alright.
in that
Speaking-
statement fucks.
Speaking of fuck, fucking Little Women, man. That sounds very... Little Women is, in my opinion, the greatest film of the year. I think every actor in the movie is firing on all cylinders. Greta Gerwig has made a fucking masterpiece. I haven't read the other books, but it's also been said by multiple people who have read the books and seen the other adaptation that it's the best one because it actually gives validation to every character and doesn't just focus on Jo and inflates her ego. I think it's an incredible film, and genuinely, I've not seen anything that like heartwarming and also wrenching and also just like incredibly made in years. Not since Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is my favorite fucking movie of all time. It is stellar.
Yeah. I can't disagree with you at all. I left the theater and I was completely kind of in this all of the movie. I've seen the 94, I've read the book. And then I like the 94 one a lot. But this did something completely different with the time shifts. You know, Amy got a better character arc through this entire movie. We talk about supporting characters. Florence Pugh,
Florence Pugh has had the best year of any
actor of
this year.
the year this year, actress of the year.
And I think it's like the best supporting actress. I'm sorry, Laura Dern. It goes 1,000% to Florence Pugh, and just like the fact that you are realistically able to pull off both a 12-year-old and like an exceedingly mature adult.
2021.
Yeah, like it's like I like as an actor, I cannot fathom the ability to pull that off so well.
And you know who's
Okay,
not
so
getting?
I didn't,
Oh, sorry. Go.
I didn't know until yesterday that Florence Pugh was supposed to be 12 in the flashback scenes of that movie. And it kind of, you know, that
It's a little
was
eerie.
that I didn't think she was supposed to be 12. Not gonna lie.
So,
Well, I think that's that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I think that was, again, this is coming from someone who hasn't seen the other versions. And I'm getting most of this from William Bibiani. Check him out on Twitter and shit. It's like this idea of in the other adaptations, having a younger Amy and then having older Amy as different actors makes this like disassociation. So then when you see the same Laurie dating them, it's like, that's weird. So, but and then here it almost sort of rationalizes it because you see the maturity of the character like develop.
I agree. But there is somebody that's being left out of like the Oscar talk, and I think it's unfair because Chris Cooper in this movie. Chris
Oh
Cooper
my
in this
God.
movie is
Oh my
amazing.
God. How is he the saddest? Like I think he gives like the second or third best performance in the movie. He's
His Mr. Lawrence and Bess, just their growing friendship and how he looks at her like she's a daughter.
Yeah.
And that ending comes, and he can't even enter the house.
when
I was feeling so bad. I was like,
the first time Beth plays the piano is an incredible moment.
you're talking about the time that he sits on the stairs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm gonna start crying right now. It was so good. Wait, have you both seen Little Women yet?
Yes, I have.
Jay has not. He gave you a check off the no.
Okay, I won't say anything more. Jay, watch it for the love of God. It's so good. Okay, Okay, I think
didn't
there's
like the
two big
book.
ones that we're missing. I guess three times. I think they're all big ones, but whatever. We haven't talked about 1917, Parasite, The Irishman, or Ford versus Ferrari, which is whatever. Which I haven't seen it.
Or
but, you know,
Joker.
maybe you. Fuck Joker. Okay, but
Whoa, whoa.
I didn't want to dive into it because we talked about it for like half an hour the other night.
I know.
We didn't do it live though.
We didn't do it live.
Like you gotta,
Okay, yeah,
and you
so here,
kind of
I'll-
got to give it to, you kind of got to give it its due. It did get the most, it did get the most nods this year, right?
11
At
out of
11.
is bullshit. But okay, here. So here, Doug, take it away because I know you had a very
All right,
you had a defense. I won't say if it's good or not.
hey, to people to each their own. This movie for me means something on a whole different level. Not that you empathize with Arthur Fleck at all in this movie, or should you really empathize with him. But it shows the depiction of what the mental health situation is like in this country, and it shows it on a realistic basis. This is not a movie when people tell you that it's shallow. Are you filing right now with your state to go ahead and get mental health insurance? Because I'm telling you right now that I am, and that's a 100% reactionary take. If they feel like you're not worth their time, they pull your funding, they pull your insurance. You don't have it. That means you can't get your meds. You can't do the actual balance. I understand the arguments. Sorry, go ahead.
I was like, if it's shallow, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper would be making out to it at the Oscars. But never mind, finish your thing.
Jokes. Wrong time. No, I honestly, I think this movie, what it does, and Todd Phillips isn't getting enough credit for what he pulls out of his actors. I think Walking is very good. 110% is good in this movie. But I don't think we would have gotten this this version of Arthur Fleck on Walking's performance alone. I think Todd Phillips has a lot to do with it. I think his script has a lot to do with it. This movie, a lot of people are giving it hate because it's a comic book movie. A lot of people are like, it's a comic book movie. Do you know why he did that? Guys, the honest truth is, the why he did that was because so most people would see and have the issues with it. No, money
Well,
is what
that is part of
the
it.
studio gave the funding because they knew that it would make money because it has this comic book character on it. I think Todd Phillips very smartly hid a story about mental health, which maybe some people wouldn't have saw without the label of
It's not hiding it though.
it. No,
Like,
okay.
it
I understand what I understand that he's not hiding it, but what I'm trying to state is he's putting it with a picture that the
quote unquote comic book movie
with a
when
comic
it's
book movie
really
where
about
the
with the state of mental health.
Yes.
Yeah, I get.
So-
I
so-
get what you're saying.
he put that shiny gloss of this is a comic book movie, guys, come see it. But it is going to be rated R. It's going to be violent. It's going to be all these things. But he gives the message of what real mental health issues are. I know that people don't understand a lot about mental health if they don't deal with the issues. Arthur Fleck actually is going through something that's very real in this world, schizophrenia. And schizophrenia that has multiple different levels. There is violent cases like that. There's people that are locked up in hospital that kill people because they're going through that schizophrenia. There's a woman that killed her children because she thought the word of God was told to her through schizophrenia. These are real things. So for you to say it's shallow, you're telling all those people that are in institutions and all those people that are working with those people that their job is unemployment. So I understand. I understand you may not like the movie. It may disturb you. That's what it's meant to do.
I think that's a generalization, and that's exactly what the other side is doing. And we can't really do this. We can't say you're not looking at it from this picture, you're not seeing it like this when you're doing the exact same thing. Like I understand both sides of this argument, and this is kind of what this movie was designed to do. I think is to actually start discourse about the situation that we find ourselves in when it comes to the actual realm of mental health in any developed country. But the fact of the matter is I was a staunch, I don't need this movie, all the way up until opening day when me and my grandma sat our asses down in the theater and watched it. I walked out and was like, Joaquin Phoenix gave one of the best performances I have ever seen an actor give. Todd Phillips did an amazing job directing this movie. It has ups and downs to it. Do I like the movie like overall? Yes. Can I pick it apart? Yes. Will I right now? No, because we don't have another hour and a half to sit here and talk about what I like and what I didn't like about this movie. 11 nods though for let's be real. 11 nods for a comic book movie. Regardless,
It's huge.
That's what I want to talk about. It's the simple fact that this is still technically it's an Elseworld story. It's a quote unquote Elseworld story. It's a comic book movie, and the simple fact is you have people in the Academy. You have whether or not you pay for your votes, whether or not everybody's bribed to get shit. You have people paying attention to this. You know, it was the Dark Knight, I believe, that boosted it from 5 to 10. To open the Oscars up. So the simple fact is that we have another Batman character, and it was for the Joker, you know, for the most part, and Christopher Nolan directing. But what it really comes down to is the simple fact that like nobody's taking into consideration what it is that comic book movies are actually doing for the Oscars in general. You know, granted, the stupidest thing that the Oscars probably could have ever do is add a popular movie category to the Oscars. Thank you again to another comic book fiasco. We're not going to go there. I don't think Black Panther's a fiasco. I think that entire thing was a fiasco. But we have a comic book movie pushing the edges. It's not going to get all 11 wins. It's not going to sweep like that. But the simple fact is we now have, and regardless of what certain directors may or may not say, we now have comic book movies out there that are catching the attention of not just nerds like us who like to sit here and overanalyze everything. You have people who literally, I know friends of mine who won't watch any movie that isn't nominated for an Oscar. Now I can be like, boom, this is a comic book movie. It's nominated for 11 Oscars. Now go watch other fucking comic book movies. It's not just about, oh, it's a comic book movie. It's obviously for children. But, you know, I digress.
All right. No, it's okay. I would love to get into into like a full argument about this, but we're also on a time limit, so I don't want to dive into it too much. I will just like say my thoughts briefly. I think Joaquin is good. I think everything for me is in comparison to Adam Driver and then even some movies that weren't nominated. So it's hard for me to put him aloft that much. Also, not a fan of the fact they had a little person in the movie, sort of just as a joke. And I know there are arguments against that, but that's like my.
He should have killed the midget. I'm just saying.
I mean, you're not wrong. Just as from the point of like no witnesses. But that wouldn't have helped.
That might be the insensitive term, and I apologize. He should have killed the little person. Because at that point in time, what they did was they just used him for a joke. At that point in time, had they killed him, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. We would have just treated him like an everyday normal individual, and we wouldn't be like, oh no, they just have a little person in this movie as a joke.
Yeah.
Regardless of if he's the person who's nicest to him at all, that doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. I get that, but in the same sense, that was the only person that was actually nice to him.
I understand that. You just brought up, but you just brought up the fact that a lady killed her kids because God told her to do it.
I understand that, but
levels of schizophrenia here,
okay, but schizophrenia can also let you know that there's someone nice, and he still tries to, you know. So you can understand the reality at the same time, but I don't think they put him in there for a joke. In the beginning, people were poking in front of him, but
I have thoughts about this movie.
Okay.
Well, yeah, no, I think that I like this movie as a movie, right? We can get into all like the political discourse and all that, and I think that's very good. And I think the fact that a movie can do that is very good. But I think just as a movie, this film works very well, right? Just the kind of structure, it's very like Nightcrawler-esque, and it harkens back to stuff like Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. And I know people say, well, it's a derivative of those. We're not getting movies like Taxi Driver and King of Comedy anymore, so I don't care whether or not it's derivative because I love those movies, and I'm okay if we just want to make a comic book movie that's like Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. I'm very happy with that, and I love the style of this movie. I love how uncomfortable this movie can get, and I think it's fantastic.
I will say, I think the cinematography is amazing. Like I think the actual shot composition is great, and the score. Which $5 to anyone who can pronounce her name, who's not in this because we just talked about it beforehand.
Catman, skibidoo, skibidap, ba ba da bo. Ba ba da
Yes,
bo.
Catman Crothers.
Ba ba da bo.
We're not talking about The Shining.
No. All right, so here, Boat. I want you to take pick on the next one. Would you like to talk about Parasite, 1917, or Irishman?
Parasite, 100%.
Yes. Great. Okay.
Because Parasite is a movie that I don't love as much as everybody else. I think it's amazing and I love it. And I have one issue within the story, but on a technical standpoint, on just a pure cinematic standpoint, I think it's a perfect movie. Just the style, the directing, the acting on that level. It's a perfect movie. All the performances, the editing, everything is just amazing.
I'm curious. What is your one fault? Can you dive into that without spoilers?
It is a spoiler-based moment.
Okay.
So it is okay. I will say this: it is an action that a major character takes towards the end of the film that is surprising. That I don't feel like is the action based on the story. That is not the action that I feel like that character would have made. It felt like it was in there for shock value, and not really because that was a natural progression to the character. And I can't really go much into it than that.
I think I know which moment you're talking about, and I don't disagree. I still think it works though because of how it's Joker.
Previous.
Thankfully,
Yeah.
we're off. Yeah, I don't want to dive into it too much because it is a spoiler. I feel like it's one of those movies that we can't spoil yet because it still hasn't been seen by a large audience.
What up, Joe?
Yeah. I think this is a weird thing. When I was in LA for the Spectacular, I saw Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which I might get to later, while Jacoby Bancroft, who I was hanging out with, went and saw Parasite, and he came out of the movie and his eyes were just wide, and he was like, "Holy shit!"
Quit name dropping fan leaguer.
Yeah, you fucking name dropped somebody. I forgot who.
Humble brag.
Yeah.
We weren't live, you dick.
No, you weren't. Anyways, Jacoby was just aghast, and I think that's the best way to describe the movie. Is just you walk out and you feel like something revelatory and almost religious happened. It is that. I feel like it could elevate storytelling in the future, with the way it's created and the characters and how dense it is, but in a good way. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, unless we just get American remakes of it.
Yikes.
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of,
That's not a yikes. That's not a yikes. That's not a hot take. Bong Joon-ho, when he say at the Golden Globes, if you can get over that 1-inch fence of a subtitle, the world of art opens up to you. We need people to we were just talking about people getting out of their comfort zones while watching the movie The Joker. You're going to tell me that more people would rather watch The Joker than be like, I kind of got to read while I watch this movie. Miss me with that.
I was saying
that. We don't.
Yeah.
I was saying yikes to the remakes.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's what I was saying yikes to. Because the upside was a terrible remake of a really good movie.
Ooh, boy. Woo.
So here, I feel like we're running out of time now.
I got you.
Okay, so here, Doug, you choose the last one. We can cover the last one for a very brief bit. Irishman or 1917? Because I feel like you like one more than the other.
I do, but I feel like that should be the one that's saved for last, since that's probably going to take the longest.
Really?
Doug likes to talk.
I'm actually lukewarm on both of those movies.
Ooh. Okay, wait, Jay, jump in. You got to fight. Put your dukes
Gotta
up.
fight.
I haven't seen all of 1917, and The Irishman was just not a good movie to me. So, let's be real here.
I don't think it was not a good movie. I just think it was longer than it should have been.
To me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And that's a major part. That's a major portion of my argument against it. But I am all for 3.5 hour movies. Don't get me wrong.
100%. I mean, Goodfellas was Close to that.
Yeah.
Godfather
Kingdom
was
of Heaven's best cut is 4 hours and 15 minutes
My-
long, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
my issue is that you had Robert De Niro playing a 20-year-old. That is my issue.
You're
High-
87.
My
And he's not
highest
that
issue. I understand you want to test out technology. Well, guess what? Sometimes it works,
work.
sometimes it doesn't.
It didn't work.
You would have been better off hiring someone to play a younger version of him.
Yeah.
That's how I just feel. I can get the love for it. It's a Scorsese film. Trust me, I love majority of this man's work. One of his movies is one of my favorite mobster movies of all time. So
Yeah.
I 100% understand the love for this movie, but for me, I think we could have done a better. I think he could have done a better job rather than CGI in somebody and just hire a younger actor, because then it would have been more realistic when he was stomping that person out. Or when
Yeah,
he was doing some of the physical activities. You have Joe
When he
Pesci
was
talking to him and
walking out.
saying, talking to him when he first meets, and he's like, "Yeah, boy." I'm like, Joe Pesci, he looks almost as old as you. What are you talking about?
Yo, young man, you can carry the business. Meanwhile, Robert De Niro's just like, what?
Okay, boomer.
Okay.
Fuck you, Boatman. You're young. Wait, no, you're older. Wait, no, no. Boatman, Irishman, physically ill, probably due to how it was shot.
Yeah, no, I really like The Irishman a lot more than a lot of people.
I think he meant physically ill, not dude.
He did. But we opening a cup of the ring bar.
2020 coming soon. But no, like I really like The Irishman. I think it's Scorsese trying to kind of do a commentary on his own gangster films of like the 90s, right? It's him kind of trying to take that, but instead of just making it like cinema of cool, because let's face it, the first half of Goodfellas is pretty cool. Like
Yes.
And-
Yes.
The Irishman is not a cool movie. It is an incredibly depressing movie, and I think that's the point. It really is. Like Casino, the movie Casino is very much trying to be about the kind of end of the mob era. I think The Irishman is Scorsese doing that, but doing it better this time. Because Casino is still doing the Goodfellas thing of very like, oh, we're gonna do this cool, we're gonna do this very flashy. Irishman is very much just letting you kind of sit in this misery, and suddenly you realize everyone you care about is gone, right? Like that's why whenever there are characters introduced, you find out when they died, right? Like that's something that you kind of realize that's because Frank is thinking, this person's dead. I cared about what this person thought. This person's dead. This person's dead. This person's dead. I think that's just a brilliant move.
I have also played an Assassin's Creed game.
I think Bowman's saying like, oh, it's a depressing movie. I think it's a depressing 50 minutes. If this was a miniseries, it'd be fucking fantastic. As a movie, I don't think it flows super well. I think if you break it up by episodes, maybe release it over like a time period of 4 weeks, it'd be amazing.
So just the correction, I don't hate this movie. I don't even dislike this movie. I like this movie. What takes me out of the movie, like I said, was the CGI. I agree with Boatman. I agree that it's very much a movie where he's being very realistic of what happens to these mobsters, what happens to these gangsters when they get older. I love the Jimmy Hoffa stuff. It's great. But just like I said, some of the CGI took me out of the movie more than I would have liked. But Old Man De Niro is the man. I want to see more Old Man De Niro.
All right, so is that Joe Harrison in the live chat?
Yeah.
I don't know.
WHJ
Oh,
Media.
no.
WHJ Media, yeah, that's Joe Harrison.
Yeah, okay. 1917.
1917 was great. I liked a lot of the stuff that they did. Some of it didn't work for me. The sniper shot worse than a stormtrooper. I believe I stole that joke from Cody Newberry. But I will give you all the credit in the world, Cody, because it was a funny joke, and I just wanted more out there. Because that's true. You were a sharpshooter even in World War One. He's running across the bridge. You should have studied your shot and took him out.
Yeah.
There's a few things that I didn't like. The compassion that he showed later in the film was great. There's two scenes where it kind of like balances out the difference between showing compassion and showing, smarts. I don't want to spoil this movie because this movie is still very fresh in people's minds, but yeah, absolutely. I just think I think overall the movie's good. I just don't think it deserves all the praises that it gets. I think there's a few things that are, a little wonky about it.
See, I strongly disagree. I think it's one of the best movies of the year. So I saw this with my mom, and I explained it to her as on my ranking, and I think it's number 13 or 14 of the year. Everything in that top 14 is fantastic, brilliant, little to no flaws. I think it's amazing. And then right below it is Alita Battle Angel, which I fucking love, but it has a lot of problems. I think this is that hallmark of it's a fantastic movie. It hits everything it's going for. What's wrong, Jay?
What? What the fuck did you just say?
A little Battle Angel is a fucking great time. Okay.
Okay.
What did you think of Immortal Engine?
I didn't see. Watch it.
Are you
I don't
asking
like
me or are you asking them?
I'm asking
Okay.
Spence.
Oh,
I didn't see that shit. I didn't want to waste my time or my money.
Oh, but you watched
That came out
Alita
in
Battle Angel.
February.
Okay.
That came out in February. Less competition.
In fairness, it's not a terrible movie. It's not a great
Not
movie.
a good movie either.
It's not a great movie. It's an okay movie.
Okay, here.
But we're
I'm gonna
talking
get back to that
about
movie.
Best Pictures.
No, fuck it. So here.
No.
let's get to
You
that.
have a time limit. Let's go. Next.
Producer.
Yeah.
Producer.
Okay,
Next.
that's what I fucking said. Okay, let's touch briefly on the top grossers of the year because we didn't get to that yet. Number one is Avengers Endgame.
Bowman, did you want to say anything about 1917?
Yes, I did.
Sorry, Boatman. Sorry.
It's okay. I think I actually really enjoyed 1917. I'm not a big war movie fan, but I thought 1917 was just incredible. The shot composition was fantastic, and the kind of last 10 minutes, it's just actually probably more like 20. Just this rush of anxiety, and it's perfect.
I will say I very much enjoyed that whole last 20 minutes. That last 20 minutes is the reason why there's another film that I want to talk about later. But yeah.
Ooh.
Can we talk about is this the best World War I movie since Wonder Woman?
I think it's better than Wonder Woman.
Well, I'm not saying that it's not.
Oh,
what I'm saying is we haven't gotten a lot of World War I movies.
I think it goes hand in hand with
Woman...
that documentary that was made.
Okay, where they colorized the World War I.
Yeah.
footage?
Hold on. I'll have the title in 1 second, but continue, Spence.
Oh no. Something about growing old. Whatever. Okay. So yeah.
What did you think about the one-shot technique?
Thank you.
Yeah, there
It's
you go.
really good. I bet Jake Marangoni loves it. Other than that, I think it's hard for me to sing its praises when, again, because of Birdman, I feel like a lot of us are trained to sort of look for this fault in these one-shot movies. So I feel like a lot of the edits are pretty clear. I think overall, I think it's an incredible experience.
I think if I'm not looking at it. Sorry, go ahead.
No. It's whatever. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I so did not mean to interrupt you, Addy. It really just comes down to it. If we're not movie nerds like this and we're not looking for certain things like that, if we're not looking for where the cut is or if we're not looking for where the edit is, I think a lot of people don't take that into consideration because they're not looking at it from a technical aspect like that. They're more just watching the movie. But I know that this one had that one shot feel because they tried to do it like it was a one shot. Obviously, there's no possible way that it could.
There's
The edits are
there's
probably
a
really well
total
hidden.
of, I think somebody said 4 edits in the entire movie.
I don't think that's true.
Well, okay,
I can look it up.
What are,
And
what are we considering an edit though?
an edit is a cut.
Well, I
Yeah.
understand that, but you're gonna have to go through multiple scenes, and there's no way you're just gonna keep the camera running between all of that because you're gonna have to cut out a whole bunch right there. So does that count? Because if that's the case, like I'm not talking like a continuity edit here. I'm literally just talking, editing in general, because they're not like, oh hey, yeah, here we are running from one scene to another. We're gonna keep all of this in the movie. Obviously, they got to cut that out. You got to stop editing, or you got to stop. You got to stop recording. You got to start recording again. Like, but I like the concept.
I think what Doug means is there are a total of 4 continuous takes in the movie
Fair enough.
that are put together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to look how many total.
Whereas I think Birdman is like 3.
Oh, holy shit. Okay.
No.
Anyways.
That's two. Yeah.
Anyways.
So here. Top 5 box office. Number 1 is Avengers Endgame. Number 2 is The Lion King. Number 3 is Frozen 2. Number 4 is Far From Home. Number 5 is Captain Marvel. Disney needs to calm the fuck down.
Disney's never going to calm down. Just going to
They
say that
should.
right now. And I was wrong. It's a dozen cuts.
Yeah.
At the exact same point in time, Captain Marvel, not that good of a movie.
Captain Marvel
Captain Marvel is not a good movie.
It's
I would lump it in the same camp as Alita, where it's flawed but very fun with a good heart.
I personally, I don't care about Brie Larson. I don't care about the drama behind the scenes. I watched that movie. It's my type of movie. It's a comic book movie. It's the MCU. I love the MCU. This movie kind of fell flat. This movie is like the Thor: The Dark World of the newer MCUs for me. I don't really care.
I don't know if it's that bad.
I don't.
I said what I said. I said what I said. At me.
Here's my thing.
Add,
I think if they changed the structure of this movie, instead of making it this giant space adventure, make it Nick Fury is a rookie cop in the not a rookie cop, but he's a cop in this police. Not really a cop, but he's a SHIELD agent, right? And he's assigned a partner, and he has to work with Captain Marvel, and it's just a straight up buddy cop movie. I think if it was just a buddy cop movie with like one of them's, an FBI agent, the other not an FBI, a SHIELD agent, the other's superhero.
I
am an
agent of SHIELD.
Yeah, just make it a buddy cop movie, and I think it's perfect.
Another movie where the de-aging CGI really didn't work.
I think Samuel Jackson looks like 1990s era Samuel L. Jackson.
I don't think it works, but that's because I've just been like.
No, I think the facial reconstruction works. You still have the issue of the bodies moving, and it will never look good because you can't fake that.
It can eventually look good. Eventually, we're not there yet though. That's the big issue. So like, there's still that whole uncanny valley that we have to trump. And I know we've talked a lot about this one. The Lion King, not a good movie.
No,
I don't care what anybody has to say. Not a good movie. You can at me again. It's at jburns253. That movie is trash. Everybody sounds like they're singing into a trash can. It falls flat, and it's because they tried to do the live action route. And you can't see emotion on their faces. So it's literally like...
You see, I agree with you, but I don't think that's the only reason that movie falls flat.
I don't think it's the only reason. I think it's the major reason.
I think any remake of The Lion King, if you would have just tried to do it animated, I think it still would be bad because I don't think The Lion King should have been remade.
No.
I think...
It was remade because Beyonce had a new album coming out.
Really, you're not wrong. Like, I think Disney should stop remaking their best movies. I know it's been said to death, but I think Treasure Planet deserves a live action remake.
I agree with that statement so much.
I would love Atlantis: The Lost Empire to get a live action.
This movie here. This movie right here. Atlantis, yes. Treasure Planet, no.
Treasure Planet is perfect the way it is. Don't change it. Atlantis
Hey.
needs a remake.
It's not.
Hey,
The
it is
problem
not.
with Treasure Planet is that it's so steeped in like early 2000s cheese that it's a little bit dated.
But it works.
The only way, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna bring up a comment that's about to pop up in our live chat right now. The Black Cauldron by W. Yep, thank you very much. The Black Cauldron. The only reason the Black Cauldron will work is because the only person of note in that movie is now deceased Rip John Hurt. That's the only way that movie would work, and it's that and the fact that nobody remembers what the Black Cauldron actually is. And it has a premise that would really do well with a live action or even a mostly CGI remake.
You see, I think the problem with Black Cauldron is it would need to basically be very heavily restructured. Gurgi, awful character. I am sorry.
Okay.
He's,
It is the
Oh,
Jar
you're-
Jar Binks of Disney animation.
yeah.
But at the exact same point in time, I've seen live action versions of Treasure Planet multiple times. Anything with Muppet Treasure Island is basically what they it's the Treasure Island story.
It's the
We've
treasure.
seen
Yeah.
this, we've seen this 100 times. I don't need to see it in outer space. Give me something that I haven't seen, like in Atlantis before. I am down with that. But everybody's pushed to
So-
make Treasure Planet a thing. Just stop.
Here's my thing. Space opera is basically what it would be, and I think if
We
they
have 9 of
you
those
have
movies.
what?
Okay, wait,
nine, name them. Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Everybody pretty
A
much
New
was
Hope,
so
Empire
diverse.
Strikes
Wait,
Back,
wait, okay,
Return of the
Seth,
Jedi, Phantom
wait,
Menace,
wait.
Attack of the Clones, Revenge of
Can,
the Sith.
can I
Okay.
just speak for a second? Everybody else got a chance to speak. I want to
You
speak
said
on why.
name them.
I knew what you were going with, and I said,
No, you
so you're talking about Star Wars. Stop. You're
I have
gonna
my
crack
gavel.
you're gonna crack your screen.
I
Anyway,
will buy you a
already
gavel, Spencer.
Fucking do it.
no, I think right now, if we take the Treasure Planet or even Treasure Island story to a modern age and add it to it, you could make something really great. Imagine like the actual darkness of what this actual story is.
Doug,
Yes.
I don't mean to be rude, but can we get to that in 15 weeks? Because we are at an hour and we're only a third of the way through the show.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. We'll get to that in another week. We have to move on to our next segment, which I think will be even more controversial because we got
Boat's
Little
out.
Picture.
Boat's out. He's like, I'm done with you people.
Little Picture with Little Women, talking about our overrated and underrated for the year. I've already said my 2 overrated. Don't disagree, Danny. That's a good thing, honestly. Okay. I think Joker, Hollywood, both horrendously overrated. Hollywood's my bottom 10. Joker would be close if I didn't respect the filmmaking craft. But I don't want to take up the time on that. I got some weird underrated decisions we'll get to later. Here, let's start with Jay. Jay, you got some underrated, overrated you want to touch on?
Yeah, here I crafted a little board right here. You can't see, but I'm working on my handwriting. Booksmart, a little underrated. Hobbs and Shaw, I don't care what anybody says, dude. This is literally the best Fast and the Furious movie we've gotten in almost a decade. Detective Pikachu, as much as I rallied against it, the CGI works for the most part. I really felt like I was actually in the story. And Toy Story 4, overrated. I'm sorry. I will literally just say that.
Oh my
Toy
god.
Story 4, overrated, unnecessary, cool. Yeah, no, cool. Way to be Pixar.
Toy Story 4 is just a short that was elongated far too much.
Yeah.
Wait, Doug, do you like it?
I like
Yeah,
Toy
Danny,
Story
you
4
right,
what
though.
it is. I like Toy Story 4 for what it is. I never took it. I got into a slight argument on a Rangum episode once about this. And got called an old man. But
Old as shit. I hate that
But-
movie. I said it.
Okay, let's sort this out. I called you an old man.
Yo, you're
I
12
know.
years old. You've been
No,
12 years old for
I wasn't
986
being serious.
years. You
I
don't
wasn't
get it.
being serious
No,
at
I
all.
wasn't-
Eli Boatman agrees. Fucking boomer, deal with things.
I want to sort this out. I only called you an old man because you did the Dan Skip Allen thing of being like, I grew up with these
Don't name
movies.
drop. Don't
I
name
had
drop.
I had a good opinion. My opinion. You don't understand, guys. I grew up with these movies. You all didn't.
So
That's
we
the
grew up with Toy Story 2, the better one.
No,
This is really different.
the argument I said was because I kind of grew up like in succession with these movies. So like Toy Story 3 came out at the same time that I pretty much graduated high school and was moving on. But regardless, I think Toy Story is fine for what it is. I enjoyed the movie. I didn't hate the movie. But to counter animated movies, I would say Abominable. Abominable. Can I speak? Abominable.
Abominable.
Yep. Abominable. Yep. I can't
Abominable.
speak it. I can't.
You're literally Nemo right now.
But I think that movie was really underrated. I don't think a lot of people saw it, which really stinks. I think that movie very well could have been in contention for an Oscar. I think it was a beautiful.
Isn't it?
No, it's not.
Link is better. I think Link is like sort of underrated, but that's okay.
It didn't get a nod for. It didn't get a nod for.
No, it didn't. Just like how Frozen 2
Oh.
fucking missed it somehow.
Klaus.
because it didn't deserve it.
Frozen 2 was great. Y'all are on crack.
Klaus is the most
Bro.
underrated animated movie of the year.
It's not underrated.
You
People
gotta
love
let
it.
that shit go.
What?
Frozen 2?
I pulled it
not
up
a
for
good
you.
movie.
I wasn't talking about Frozen 2.
Frozen 2 is fun. It's
It
fun.
was.
Elsa's journey is
They were.
fantastic.
Yeah, no.
Cool. She
Uh,
fell in
okay.
love with her sister at
Okay.
the end of the last one. I don't care.
All right. Okay, Bo, do you have any more picks besides Klaus, which isn't underrated? It's just a really great movie and everyone agrees.
My main underrated is The Art of Self-Defense.
Yes.
Starring Jesse
Yes.
Eisenberg
Fucking
and
yes.
Imogen Poots and a lot of other people. I think,
Alessandra
Imogen.
Nicoli.
yeah,
I love her name just for comedy purposes.
Imogen Poots. Because we're all 12, apparently.
We are
I am-
12.
I am almost fucking 30, but I have the mindset of like a 14-year-old.
Jay,
I'm sorry.
Jay.
Yeah.
Please make that a Full Metal Classic category, like a random category. And like your category is
Actors
Imogen
/ actresses
Poots.
with funny names. Yikes. Okay, no. Moving on. But what about this movie did you find underrated? What
Yeah,
you
I
think
thought
did not
that
see?
This is like a very dark movie. It's almost like if Wes Anderson made Nightcrawler, right?
Oh, shit.
It's very awkward and quirky, but the story, like the way the story's being told, is like awkward and quirky and kind of funny. But like the actual subject matter is very dark and very disturbing and very uncomfortable, and it's that contrast in the tone and the story that I think really works for me.
Mhm. All right. Do we get to everyone else before I just do my weird deep dive shit?
I mean, I'll go real quick.
go ahead.
All right. I guess for me, Blinded by the Light is one that nobody seems to be talking about. And I thought this movie was fantastic. It's literally a music about a movie about a individual who falls in love with the music of Bruce Springsteen, and it's a very heartwarming story about him finding his own, his own voice in the voice of another. And I think it's beautiful. Another movie that nobody seems to talk about, and I think it is a big snub for the Oscars, is My Name is Dolomite. This movie
Dolomite
was
is my name.
Sorry. Yeah, I reversed that. Sorry.
You're good.
Dolomite is my name. I watched this movie and I was cracking up the entire time. I was like, Eddie Murphy is back. And I was like, why is no one giving him love? And I just don't think the Oscars.
Oh, no. Did you read that article, Doug?
No, I didn't read an article, but
Oh,
let's be honest, he got fired from SNL, and it was the same kind of situation that went with Sandler.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they really have nice situations to say about.
Oh no, I wasn't like detracting from that. I was literally just like that's one of the reasons that a lot of people gave for it is because he gave the cold shoulder. But hey, fair enough.
it's
Fair
literally
enough,
in the. Well, I think it's a great title, but no. So what Jay is also talking about is there's an article that came out I think like a week ago about I think a couple of Academy voters who said anonymously to the Hollywood Reporter about like, oh, I'm not voting for Eddie Murphy because he's just a comedian. Same for Adam Sandler. And J-Lo is a phenomenon.
They're not
Not an
voting for
actress.
Adam Sandler because he makes those terrible Netflix movies.
No, they weren't voting for Adam Sandler because that article that he's referencing, they're not voting for Adam Sandler because he is disrespectful in almost
Oh,
the same
okay.
vein as
I heard.
the same vein as Eddie Murphy. And J-Lo isn't an actress, she's an icon. So she has name recognition more than anything else, and she didn't really need the Oscar.
You see, here's
Which is
my counterpoint. Here's my counterpoint to that whole thing.
Okay.
I think that the Academy is filled with literally 10,000 people. And I think we are getting a very small sample size of information. So I don't think we can go. I think there was an amalgamation of reasons why certain people got on the list and why certain people didn't. And it always annoys me when people say, well, this person should have got in. It's a snub. Say why you think. I care about why you think someone else shouldn't have gotten in rather than somebody should have. Because I think there are just so many great performances in a given year that you can say that should have gotten in, but who do you take out? You know?
I agree with
there's
that.
nobody who I would take out for J-Lo. I'm sorry.
No, I completely understand that, but sometimes we have to take into consideration if these things are said either on a website or if they're said in like an op-ed piece in a newspaper, you only have X amount of time, and if you're trying to get a point across, you cannot just go into a full discourse on that. But I agree with you. If you think that somebody got snubbed, you need to give a reason why, who you would replace, and why you would replace them. I 100% fully endorse that retweet, as Robert Parker would say.
I fully endorse that we need more nominations. I think Christian Harloff said it best.
I disagree with that, Joe. I'm sorry.
Okay. I think Christian Harloff said it best. We don't need. I agree with what you said, Caleb. We don't need to take out people because their performances were worth it too. We need to make more slots. We need to open it up to at least 10 for every category because there is at least 10 actors that deserve to be on that ballot. Yeah, Jay.
So here's I don't care. I'll be a thief. Fuck you. Get fucked. Mafia in the house. But no, what it really comes down to is a simple 9 movies nominated for Best Picture this year. We have 10 spots open. You're gonna tell me that they couldn't find another movie? It doesn't matter whether or not you want to put it there. Are you gonna say that we couldn't have found another movie? And why is Best Picture the only one that has 10? You know, the ability to go up to 10 is what I mean. But nothing else does, and we're stuck at this 5. Like, I get it, you know, it makes it a little bit more competitive, but at least at that point in time, you have the ability to bring more people in. And if there are, there are 10,000 people who vote, cool, you've just opened that up. You've made it more competitive to see what can or cannot happen.
I agree.
Those are
my underrateds. I don't really have any overrateds because I think everything that I really like is kind of right around where it needs to be. You know.
My overrated is probably one that actually no. My overrated is Frozen 2. I am sorry, that movie is storyline wise an absolute mess. It is horribly paced. There's a lot of good things in that movie, but just from a straight it actually, I will say, it made me appreciate the first Frozen because I never realized how well paced 2013's Frozen was until I watched Frozen 2. And that movie is just really unfocused and just kind of feels like, okay, here's this thing and this thing and this thing, and we're just going to do this. And why not?
But the fire lizard! The fire lizard!
I love the fire lizard.
Rooney is so fucking good.
Anything. The fire lizard doesn't do anything. He's
there for merchandising, and I love him.
There to be cute.
Doug gets it.
You are not completely wrong there, Danny.
Danny's not wrong.
Right,
I don't think it should. I honestly, out of all of them that are nominated, personally, How to Train Your Dragon 3. Best anime. I'm just saying.
No. I feel like its emotion rings hollow.
It closes the story in a really good manner.
All right, Spence, what are your underrateds?
Ooh, okay. So, Danny touched on the first one because we agree on this. It
You
is
got, you,
fucking
got, you got
phenomenal.
20 minutes.
Great. The Nightingale, I think, is one of the singularly best crafted films, and I think maybe the decade. It's up there. I wouldn't put it top 10, but I'd put it top 20. It's phenomenal. I think the entire cast gives the best performances of the year in their respective categories. Aislinn Franciosi in lead actress, Sam Claflin in lead actor, and Bakali Ganambar, who is fantastic. He is this year's Barkhad Abdi, where he's amazing in one film and will never get any work ever again, unfortunately. It is incredible. I do not understand why people don't like it. I was floored when I left the theater, to the point that rarely does this happen. I just sat in my car for like a half an hour and had to digest it. It is a brilliant piece of art. I'll save my other one for our next segment because I want to dig into it hardcore. Do you guys have any last little things? Or okay, yeah. Now we got Go Picture. Oh.
You asked the question, I switch back over.
No, okay, that's right. So, do
We're
you guys
good?
have any last ones you want to put in there? Overrated, underrated.
I said it. Booksmart. I don't think that it got enough love. I thoroughly enjoyed the hell out of that movie.
Also, Billy Lord gives the best performance of the year. Gives one of the best performances of the decade.
I wouldn't say that of the year. Yes, of the decade. We can have that.
Absolutely.
We can have that conversation off air. Go Picture.
We'll be having that in 9 weeks. Now we got
last one I'll throw out there is Midsummer.
So
some
good.
people really didn't like this movie. I thought it was a beautiful homage to horror, and not just like that slasher horror. It's that psychological thriller. It was a breakup movie. It was a cathartic breakup movie. Like, the ending to this movie is ridiculous, and it doesn't. The pacing doesn't stop from the first death. It continues to go, and it keeps getting more brutal and kind of more sacrificial, and it's incredible. I really enjoyed it.
I'll say get that. Oh, sorry, one of my favorite words. Agreed. I will say, get that little hot take button ready, Doug. I think Midsummer is the greatest straight horror film since The Babadook. It is a brilliant piece of filmmaking and genuinely unnerving.
Babadook came out.
Not a.
I don't think it's hot take. I don't think that's hot take. I genuinely think it's probably one of the better horror movies to come out in probably the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Okay. And with that, this movie for that is yeah, it's good. All right, with that, also with Florence Pugh being the absolute queen. Now we have our final segment of the day with 13 minutes to spare. We got Go Picture.
Go Picture, kid.
Talk about our absolute best movies of the year. I think we've touched on all of ours briefly, except for one person hiding in the corner over here, Mr. Bodie Boat. Mr. Brad Gilmore, what do you think is your favorite movie of the year?
Brad Gilmore wishes he could be Caleb Boatman. Caleb Boatman got more clout. He flexes on more people. He knows more shit.
He does a better Christopher Walken than Brad Gilmore.
Oh, no.
Brad Gilmore,
Fucker.
I'm coming for you.
He just throw you off the
He'll
boat.
show you what happened to Natalie Wood.
But honestly, if we could get, just for one match only, a boat versus boat trivia exhibition.
About boat movies.
Sure, why not?
Brad
I'm not
Gilmore,
going.
I would
as a part of the Year on Trial podcast, you've been challenged. Go Picture.
Okay.
Okay, but my favorite movie of the year is one that we briefly touched on it because we touched on Eddie Murphy. But it's not
Oh.
No, we didn't touch Eddie Murphy. We don't need to get out the teddy bear.
You don't know my story. You don't know my story.
You know what the Get Fucked Mafia does in their spare time?
Yikes. But
GFM in the house.
okay, well, my favorite movie of the year
Thomas Scully.gif.
is a never-ending thrill ride, and I love it.
Never
And
ending
not-
story.
No,
You're the one with the time limit. You need to stop. Boat, go.
it's Uncut Gems. It's Uncut Gems. I think Sandler is brilliant. I think the pacing is amazing. The score's amazing. The Safdie brothers now are on my list for people who are going to own the 2020s. And I think I love this movie. I love the Weeknd's cameo in it. I love Jay. You've seen the movie, right?
I've seen the majority of it.
Okay, Doug, have you seen the movie?
I've seen this movie, but
Okay.
we talked about this.
I wouldn't be here if I didn't want shit spoiled for me.
Fair.
So
No, I'm asking because I need sports people to help me. What is the name of the guy? He's
Kevin
a
Durant.
Yes.
JD?
No,
All
it's
right.
not. Who is it? Who is it, Doug?
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, it's Kevin
No,
Durant.
it's
Right?
not Kevin Durant.
Oh, it's
It's
Kevin
Kyle
Garnett.
something. It's KG.
It's Kevin Garnett.
Kyle.
It's
Kyle.
Adina Menzel.
Whatever his name is. He's playing himself and he's actually good. I think this whole movie, you hate the main character, but you are also kind of there's a part of you that's rooting for him, and it's really weird. And it just kind of grabs you. Thank you, Kevin Garnett. Just kind of grabs you by the heart, and yeah, honestly, low key, Joe, you're not wrong. And Safdie Brothers great at this because after I watched this movie, I watched Good Time.
So good, right? So good. So good.
Robert Pattinson should have been nominated
Yes.
and won the Oscar that year. I am sorry.
Yes.
But no,
So good.
I love Uncut Gems, and the Safdie brothers own my wallet now. Unless they make a movie like as bad as like Batman and Robin, they are going to own me forever. I'm going to watch everything that they make that comes out in theaters.
Was that a joke at Patterson? I mean, since he's gonna be Batman.
No.
His name
No,
is the
okay.
Pat Man.
Loki,
The Batman.
I would love the Safdie brothers to do with a Penguin movie in the vein of Joker.
Just
Yes.
anything
Yes.
DC. Like,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
give me dark and gritty DC, like the anxiety-filled ride that we had in Uncut Gems. This was my 5th of the year. Like, no lie, this is my 5th of the year. I put it at 5. I saw it once, and that's how good it was. I couldn't justify putting it at 1, but I put it at 5. This movie, this is me sitting in the theater for the last like 25, 40 minutes. I'm like, it's a stress-induced anxiety attack. And it's just like, and there's no good characters in this movie. I couldn't find one. Like, when you rewatch it, there's literally no good characters in this movie. They're all great characters. They're all realistic people. And this movie was incredible. But I'm right there with you. Uncut Gems is phenomenal.
Kiss.
I am watching this tomorrow, so we'll see what my opinions are on it then. Thank you for not spoiling it. Doug, this is your number 5. What's your number 1 then?
I can't go with my number 1, but I will go with one of my favorites that's not on my top 10 list, because this is airing before the Your List Sucks episode, so I'm not going to go ahead and give away anything on that. But my favorite outside of that movie is the one Honey Boy. I think the performance in this movie, I know we don't like talking about snubs, but I think the director for this should have been nominated. And I think Shia LaBeouf should have gotten in for supporting. What Shia LaBeouf does with this character, what he does with his father's character, is the amount of psychological issues that you have to go through to be able to put yourself in that person's position is very it shows you a mirror of what his life was actually like, and it wasn't pleasant. You know, it's Noah Jupe, right? I'm saying it right.
Mhm.
Noah Jupe. That kid's gonna be a star. That kid is gonna be a star. From Ford versus Ferrari this year, to Honey Boy to The Quiet Place. The kid is a phenomenal actor. I don't say
Wait.
child actor. He's a phenomenal actor.
What, you was in the quiet? You was in a quiet
Yeah,
place?
he was the son in The Quiet Place.
the one who got fucking murdered.
No, the one that they go to the waterfall.
Oh, I didn't know. Holy shit!
Yeah,
Wait,
and he's
no,
going to be in the sequel.
endorsed, 100%. Jay, would you like to say your favorite? You want me to take it?
I mean, we all know my favorite movie. I already said it was my number one of last year.
So,
No, go ahead.
no, sorry. I'm gonna do the same thing Doug did. My number one is Avengers Endgame. I'm gonna defend it to the fucking death. I think it's amazing fandom culture film, and it's in my top 10 of all time. I love it that much. I emphatically adore it, but I don't want to give it time because everywhere you go, people will love it. I want to give love to my number two, which is my favorite horror comedy of all time. That I think is severely slept on, which has maybe the greatest appearance of a horror, like a slap. What's the term they have in horror films?
Oh, I know which movie you're going with.
Not a final girl, but just strong female protagonist in horror movies.
Yeah, she's known as the final girl.
Yeah, Ready or Not.
That's what they are known as.
Incredible. It is one of the funniest movies of the year. Its gore is unmatched. Its writing is incredible. I think it has the greatest ensemble of the year. Sorry, Little Women. Sorry, Parasite. It is amazing. I cannot comprehend just how finely attuned this was to my taste of just really insane, over the top humor and gore, and the plot is crazy. The only thing I'm not a fan of is who they sort of pin this on, because it's not super great with my beliefs. But overall, it was the most pleasant viewing experience I had in the theater all year. It's the kind of movie that I'm gonna watch on Blu-ray, and every time someone comes to my house and says, let's put something on in the background, I'm gonna throw it on, and then I'm gonna jump the couch and watch the entirety of it because I am that just enraptured by the experience of it.
So you're saying in March, when me and Jay come to California, you're
Damn
gonna get
fucking right. We'll do three things.
I've already seen the movie. I think the movie is fantastic. I think it's a really good horror comedy type movie. In the vein of like Dale and Tucker, that kind of movie. So if you like that kind of movie, you'll like this movie.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoy the ending. It's a chef's kiss, if you will, because I really enjoy Karma. Karma is a very real thing. Karma is a very real thing in this movie, and it is great. It's a really funny horror movie. Whereas, like I said, Midsommar was a really quintessential horror movie and like psychological thriller, mess with your head. This movie is just go in there, have fun with it, and enjoy the ride. That's what I did with Dale and Tucker when I first saw that, and I did the same thing with this.
I do want to backtrack a little bit. Yeah. So when y'all are coming over, we're gonna do a triple feature with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Ready or Not, and a movie I forgot to mention in the underrated segment, Cats. Cats is a fucking great time in the theater. Please go watch it. It is amazing.
I will claw out my eyes and be blind for the rest of my life if you try to make me watch Cats.
Cats is...
I would rather pour bleach in my eyes than watch Cats.
Cameron Holtzman, please back me up on this. Cats.
Cameron Holtzman has seen 11 movies in his entire life. I don't want to hear his opinion on Cats.
Caleb
and
Coho,
fucking 5 of them have been Edgar Wright movies. So no, I don't want to hear his opinion
what's
about
wrong with
Cats.
Edgar Wright movies?
There's
Most
nothing wrong with it.
Oh, okay.
All right, Jay, just dive in.
Jojo Rabbit. I've already touched on it. I already touched on it when we were talking in big picture. I think this is a movie that everybody needs to see. Cool. Nico, grab your rock and go watch it with him because ain't nobody watching that fucking movie. Ain't nobody watching that movie. We'll throw you both in a closet separately because you'll probably kill each other. We're not doing that.
Jay, I just
No,
came out of the
stop.
closet. I don't need to go back in one.
Yikes.
Congratulations.
Yikes.
Maybe I'm not gonna go there. Nico's in the fucking call. Anyways, no, I'm kidding. I love you both. I love you both.
Wait, no, I like Nico's idea. I want to Inglorious Bastards this, where you have cats on the projector, and we're both behind.
And you just
the screen
murder
watching
everybody
everyone's
who's watching it.
reactions. Yes.
Cool, we just burnt down a movie theater with nobody inside. Good for you. Good for you. Anyways, Jojo
Good
Rabbit.
for you.
Oh, good for you. Jojo Rabbit. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. The words out of this man above me's mouth. It's a better Moonrise Kingdom.
I agree.
You said it. You better agree.
I forgot that I had said that.
Did he say it at 3 a.m. where he
No.
won't remember? Was he wide
No, it was 2:59 a.m. It was right before. No, I'm kidding. But he did say he thought it was a better Moonrise Kingdom.
I mean,
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I love this movie. I think that it doesn't get as much. It's getting a little bit of love, but I don't think like enough people have seen it. And I've touched on it a couple of times. Every time I actually get a chance to talk about this movie, there are a lot of people out there who didn't go and see this movie because of some of the themes that it deals with. They hear Nazis. Oh, I'm not going to go watch a movie that has Nazis in it. You're missing the point of this movie if that's what's stopping you from watching this movie. Go watch this movie. Have a fantastic time riding a roller coaster of emotions that Jojo Rabbit is,
God.
because it's got peaks and valleys, baby. Peaks and valleys.
No,
Very
see, Jay,
high peaks. Hold on.
It's got
Very
peaks.
high peaks.
and it's got
and very
valleys.
low valleys.
Also,
But
again, having not seen Uncut Gems, it also has maybe one of the most tense scenes of the year. And Jay, like with the
I do not disagree with that.
oh my
statement.
God. And then the way it pays off in the end, because you think it's tense, but the payoff is just making the string tighter. Oh, it's so good. Taika has my money on anything he wants to do. Akira, go for it. Thor: Love and Thunder.
Akira-
we could be heroes.
Star Wars movie that they're eyeing
Yes.
for.
I'm
Bro.
Where's
give
my
me
fucking
it.
wallet?
Give me it.
Taika, you can take my money over
Mandalorian?
there.
Yeah, boy.
Give me that. He ended Mandalorian perfect. Give me a Star Wars movie done by Taika.
Oh, I still need to fucking finish that. Anyway, okay, that is the end of our show today. 2019 has ended. Fuck you. You suck as a year. Actually, I think it's I think it's one of the better years of the decade. I'd say it's I think 2014 and 2017 are really high up there. This is
I think this
Really
is
good.
right under 2017, 2014. Yeah, I agree with you.
I think this is like tied with 2014 for me.
wow.
For
I
top.
can get behind that too. I really enjoyed this year.
I loved this year a lot. And it might just be because this was a year where I decided not to watch a lot of bad movies. Like I didn't see a lot of the quintessential bad movies, but literally the worst movie that I saw was 2 stars out of 5, which is pretty good for me. So I was pretty happy with a lot of the output this year. I had a really good time with this year. There are like 4 movies that I gave a 10 out of 10 to this year, which is high. Last year, Knives Out was my number 8 last year, or this year, or 2019. If it would have come out,
Yikes! I didn't read the last part of that joke.
I'm
if
Shiro Masamune, the creator of that manga, has stated that she has an Angloid body. She is not of Asian
all right,
descent.
all right.
Miss me
We're not
Okay,
talking
we
about it.
don't-
All right,
in
let's
2
not
weeks,
talk
in
about
2 weeks
that.
we can get to
okay, can I get back to my point?
Yeah.
Yes.
Knives Out was my number 8 last year.
That is so good. So fucking good.
If it would have come out in 2018, it would have been my number 2 of the year. Meaning all my other films above that would have somewhere either been my number 1 or my number 2 had they come out in 2018 as opposed to 2019. This was a killer year
Yeah.
for me.
it's so frustrating that we couldn't get to certain movies like Portrait of a Lady on Fire mentioned before. I think it's the greatest French film in a long time. I fucking adore it. Has the greatest ending scene maybe I've ever seen. It's definitely up there. Peanut Butter Falcon, super underrated. Agreed, Nico, piece of shit. I was thinking of something else as well. Long Shot, The Mustang with Matthias
Oh,
Schoenaerts.
the long
Mustang was great.
Long Shot, great, amazing rom-com in the vein of The Big Sick. Fantastic. And again, The Mustang, one of the great performances of the year.
I forgot that came out this year, and that came out
Right?
early this year.
Yep. Great horse actor. I wasn't a big fan of the other horse movies that came out recently, and there is a lot. This movie won me over. Horses are fucking great actors.
We're at 90. Let's go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bye,
let's wrap it up.
everybody.
You gonna wrap us out, Spence?
Yeah, Jug, where can people find you on Twitter?
Yeah, go ahead and find me right there on that link right there at Douglas_Castle. I'm going to be one of the regular panelists here. This show will be found on the YouTube channel of You're on Trial. You're on Trial. So make sure you go over to that page as well, like and subscribe. Hopefully we'll be bringing back Transvail real soon. We're crossing our fingers. We're trying to get things worked out. It's just scheduling and getting everybody together. But we're going to have a lot of fun. So keep your eyes out on that, and as well keep all your eyes out on the Manor over on Take 3.
Go to me last.
Okay, Jay.
At jburns253 at bargang_burns on Instagram and Snapchat. I don't use Snapchat, and I haven't posted a picture to Instagram in like a year, so I guess don't follow me there. Twitter or Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, Jay Burns. I'm probably mutual friends with like 9 people because that's just how I am. Everybody knows me, but nobody talks to me. So if you want to talk, get at your boy. If not, get fucked. Get fuck mafia in a house.
Jay's DMs are open, apparently. You can find me on Twitter at TemmyQ Film Nerd. That's at TEMEKU Film Nerd. Also, feel free to check me out on the Call to Action podcast, breaking down the Schmodown and all things Schmodown related, where I'm also starting 2 new shows, and hopefully I'm getting one started with this little man over here pretty soon.
I got a
Not
question
with
for
him,
you
but
off there.
featuring him.
Okay.
So no dead air. Okay, he's ready. Okay.
Go ahead, Bill.
No. Okay. So it's kind of hard to find me, so I made a detailed map. So you make 100 paces to Full Metal Entertainment. Do not take a right, or you will end up here where it is on top.
Guys!
Take a left. Ask them what their favorite. Take a left. Ask them what their favorite biopics are. Then go northeast 100 paces until you end up at Multiplex Entertainment, where I run Movie War Zone, which is our general movie trivia division.
Yo,
What's
boat.
that little bump that you got at the bottom? What's that little
This
bump
one?
you got at the bottom?
Which one?
Because
Oh.
you got a name on there you ain't mentioned yet. What's that little bump on the bottom? Yeah, that one right there.
Really? Probably.
Boat. That map fucks.
That map fucks.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this inaugural episode. We'll see you next week where we talk 2018. And I am sure a lot of things will happen that week. I can't think of what came out, but it's still going to be a wild episode. See you guys next week. Your trial has ended. Bang the gavel. All
You
that
did
good
all
shit.
right.
I'll find a closing eventually.
Don't have sex with the gavel, Spence.
Joe, what the fuck?